Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So I'm gonna start by reading a small little paragraph to you about magic. So, to the modern mind, the word magic likely conjures up images of Hogwarts and other fantastical and exclusive realms. Yet, in the ancient world, magic was not only a perceived reality, but was also accessible to many people. Surviving literature and archaeological remains from ancient societies surrounding the Mediterranean, including those of Egypt, the Near East, Greece, and Rome, reveal the extent to which magic pervaded most aspects of life. So, why am I reading this to you? It's basically to show you that most of us nowadays have completely wrong perception of magic. So over time, obviously, the perception of magic has changed due to, TV and all sorts of stuff. And we kind of either think it's not real, it's something that was made up just for entertainment purposes, it's just fun to read a book about a witch or watch a show about Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, or whatever. Or people tend to think that magic is a quick fix, and if it's not a quick fix, then it's not magic and it doesn't work. So they think that it basically can give them anything they want right away. This is instant. So, what is the difference between us and ancient societies? Because as you can see, back then it was used a lot more and it was used for every aspect in life, and it seemed like it was working better, right? Well, the difference is that they had obviously the right perception of magic and used it properly. Um, And I think the biggest problem with, magic not being successful is the problem with all of these things. People are being very impatient with it. That I think is the number one issue. And they are not willing to make the vibrational change. They don't really understand magic is energy work, and that since their energy does need to change. So they're unwilling to do the work, and they're impatient. They don't want to wait. So, speaking of that, I just remembered something. I have this friend that, I mean, we're not close friends, but she's also a witch, and she doesn't work with clients. She's like, she is a witch, but not for other people, I guess. And once she did a spell for me. I didn't even ask her. I was struggling with something and I mentioned this to her. And then, a couple of months later, this situation has, let's say that it it kind of worked out, I guess, but not in traditional way worked out. It kind of basically what she did was a road opener, so roads opened for something. And I remember I knew instantly she did something, because it was just it was just suspicious how it all kind of arranged. So I asked her, hey, did you maybe do something? And she was like, yes, actually I did. And then I asked her, hey, why don't you work with clients? You're like really talented. And she said that she has no interest in being bashed all over the place and her name being dragged just because somebody's ex will not come back within 2 weeks. Um, and I just said, yeah, I get it. I fully understand it. And I do. So I think that a lot of witches actually don't practice with clients for that reason, because they just don't want that hustle and being bashed around and stuff like that, because people will just give up after a week or two, and they will not follow the instructions, and they're just gonna be like, okay, this hasn't worked in a week, I'm giving up. So I get that. But I also understand people. I understand that they just don't want to wait and they're impatient and they just want the text back. But the thing is that unfortunately, there is no quick fix. And people will be searching for that quick fix all over the world, but they're not going to find it because that is not how it works. And this is why, this is something that I can't change and I don't want to change, and I accept it. But I want to make sure that my clients, the ones that I work with, are aware of the fact that magic does need time. And the harder your situation is, most likely the more time it's going to take. So if you are in no contact or in little contact, or if you're blocked, especially, it's gonna take longer to get some movement than if you are in contact with your person. And that is just logical. And magic does work in a logical way, in my opinion, from my experience. And it works in a natural way, as I always say. So you gotta be aware of these things. If somebody has blocked you like 2 years ago, number one, it's a very hard situation, which may not work. And number two, they're not just gonna unblock you the next day after the spell. It's not how it works, because they will be receiving pushes about you. And most likely, if there is a lot of resentment and stuff, they're not just gonna go, oh, I've just remembered my ex, let me unblock them. It's not how it's going to work. It's going to be a process. They have free will, and they are a human being, and they're really going to, like, deal with these pushes in their own way. And it's going to take some time for these pushes to become stronger and stronger, and for this person to kind of give in into the pushes. So that is the reality of it, and that is the honest truth. And I don't care, like I said, that people perceive magic as a quick fix. That that will always happen, and that is fine. But I don't want any of the clients that I'm working with to just give up because there's been no movement within a week or 2 weeks or whatever. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And this is why I'm extremely grateful to everybody who has shared their journey with others, either on my page, or just in private messages, because I know that some of you guys have become friends already and stuff. So whatever way you choose to do it, you don't need to do it publicly. I don't care about that. But I do think that it helps so many people when you do share. Again, you don't need to. I'm just saying that it can be very helpful to kind of understand how magic works, and that it does take time, and those are just facts. There is no specific time frame. There is no spell that you buy and then you get your ex back in within 3 days or whatever. It's not how it works. So I am very grateful for the people who have shared their stories and their journeys, um, just to show people that, number one, it takes time. Number two, it takes a change, a vibrational change. And number three, it is real. So um, I hope this was somewhat helpful, and I hope that you will find a way to be patient. And I know that being patient is really hard, because I used to be very impatient as well, and I totally understand it. I understand it. I have so much understanding and so much, sympathy and empathy for the people that do give up within, 2 weeks. I do get it, because I was the same way. So it's not that I'm trying to bash on these people or anything like that. I do understand them, but it does take time, and it is what it is. We can't change that. Anyways, I love you guys. Bye.